everyone, my name is Lauren Juarez and I'm so glad you're here. Today I'm going to be answering your guys' questions that you asked me over on Instagram. A lot of them are going to be about my experience with my divorce. You guys asked some pretty amazing questions that I think are going to be healing for a lot of people and that I'm sure so many others are also wondering about. So let's get into this. There's also some really fun questions in here. So it's not going to be all like sad, but we're going to have a good time. Also, this is the perfect time to pause the video and grab yourself some tea or some coffee, and we will just chit chat and have a little hangout sesh. Please feel free to use this video as a little coffee date with me. I would love that. Post it on your story and tag me so I can see it and chat with you guys. I get back to every single DM. We are getting right into these deep questions. I'm not going to be beating around the bush, so let's get into this. The first question is, how often do I chat with my therapist? I do try to make it a weekly or bi-weekly thing. I found her through Psychology Today, which is like a search engine for therapists. I was able to find out that she takes my insurance. I sent her an email and then we got in touch and started like the next week or something. I want to note that when I first started therapy with her, I was going like twice a week. Now she's just kind of a helpful support, but at the very beginning, she was like my lifeline. Next question is, do you still keep in touch with his side of the family? I do not. I'm just gonna love them, obviously from afar at this point, but I wish them nothing but the best. No, I do not communicate with his family, nor do I intend to in the future. Moving on, this is about my family. So the question is, did my family support my divorce? Yes, they were amazing. My family really, all of my family, even extended family, has really helped to support and be on my side, cheering me on through this entire process, which honestly is more than a lot of people that go through this can say. So I feel extremely blessed and extremely grateful that they are there for me and that they are my support system. If you're a parent or a friend or a family member of somebody who is going through divorce, I would say the best advice that I could give you is to rally around that person and love them so much. Offer to make them food, offer to buy them meal delivery kits, rally around that person, love them, try to support them in even little practical, tangible ways. That's super helpful. What's been the one thing that you fell in love with in Ohio that's different than the Central Coast of California, where I grew up? For me, this definitely has to be the fact that the seasons explode here. If you know anything about California, you know that it's pretty brown, most of it, so that's just a huge change. The next question is, do I have a hard time looking back at memories with fondness while also knowing that I'm better off? Yeah, I have a hard time with that. There's moments where I'll look back at our dynamic and be like, gosh, like he was my best friend. I felt like a check in my spirit last night. I was in the bath and I was like thinking about that, and I felt like God was just telling me like, I'm gonna give you that and more, like, because basically less of everything else that he was doing, so more of love and respect and care. I'm excited for that. I'm excited to have a best friend who is my partner and is honest with me about stuff, and I'm looking forward to that one day, whenever that happens. The next question is, how do you know that divorce was the right answer for your marriage? Honestly, I didn't know that that was the right answer for my marriage. Like, nobody gets married thinking that they're gonna get divorced. It was pretty definite of when I found out that like, okay, this is the right moment. So I guess I knew because the love had run out, and I'm not going to force somebody to love me if they don't. What's the most important lesson that you've learned from 2022? I made an entire video actually on this. My last video that I posted was lessons that I learned from 2022 and the dreams and goals that I have for 2023. I think the biggest lesson that I learned from 2022 is that I can do things by myself and I don't need another person to be there. The next question is, how do you deal with grief after divorce? And again, I made an entire video about dealing with heartbreak, so I will link that video up here and let that entire video just speak for itself, because honestly, I gave so many practical tips in that video. If you could only read 3 books for the rest of your life, what would they be? My 3 picks are Sun and Her Flowers by Carr. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. This was gifted to me by my cousin when I was going through everything, and it's been life-changing, and it is 101 essays that will change the way you think, literally will never stop preaching for people to get this book. And the last one is Eat, Pray, Love. If you know me, you know that I absolutely love the movie and the book. The book is honestly better than the movie. It's so good. I listened to an audiobook and it was just honestly an experience. So I loved that so much. What are some ways to use your personal trauma for good outside of social media? You could use your story to uplift somebody else and what they're going through. I know that our God gives beauty for ashes, and that when things are hard and when things feel really rough and we don't see a way, that He makes a way always. And even if you're not a believer, I still believe that everything in your life happens for a reason as well. This is something that is so helpful to keep in mind when you're going through something difficult, is that some of the most beautiful and famous and profound and memorable pieces of art in all different facets of art have come from a place of hurt and trauma. If you go to a local art museum and just look at what people have created, most of the time it's not like, oh, this is from like the happiest moment of my life. Most of the time it's like, this is from a place of raw hurt and emotion, and that can resonate with even just a few people, or that can really like inspire them to go on and create more pieces of art. And I just think that our hurt is not a waste of time and space. I think our hurt can be used for so many different things. Do you feel like your ability to trust and love has been lost? I think parts of me feel like, how could I ever trust somebody again fully? And I struggle with that, and that's something I'm really trying to give over to the Lord. But I think also I feel this optimism about being able to trust somebody again and love somebody again. And that comes from a place of being able to trust God and knowing that God is writing my love story. God is writing out the way that my life is going to go and should go. So I think it's so important to remember that God Himself is love and He is trust. If I'm walking with Him and I'm leaning on Him, then I will be able to discern better if the person that I'm with is also loving and trustworthy. And I believe and I'm trusting that if anything's funky and off, that God will be able to reveal that to me, make it clear to me to break the relationship off and move forward. How did you begin to support yourself financially after the divorce? I took freelance full-time pretty soon after the divorce. I'm actually planning on doing a full video about like how to sustain yourself as a single person, especially going from 2 incomes to 1. The next question is, what are some green flags in a relationship? And in this season of singleness, for me, I am going to be taking this time and have been taking this time to be a student of what a healthy relationship looks like. So some things that I've noticed that are definite green flags are when relationships have an underlying evergreen respect for one another, whether that's in public with other people or whether that's in private. Another one is just complete honesty and transparency about everything, big and small. And the last one is if they have like a passion for a larger topic outside of themselves. So like they're very passionate about stopping animal abuse or saving the planet or these bigger topics. They strive to make change in that area. Like that is so cool and really speaks to their character. Next question is, what is my ethnicity? And this has been the question that I've gotten so many times over the course of my entire life. I've gotten Filipino, Eskimo, Asian, I think is the biggest one, Hawaiian, just a hodgepodge of things, but my dad is Mexican and my mom is German, so I think I'm 50-50, but I think I want to take those 23andMe things and see like what's really going on, because something just ain't adding up. I feel like I don't just look Mexican and German. I feel like there's got to be something else. Next question is, what do you do when you feel lonely? And this is a huge one. I want you to know that if you do feel lonely, you're not alone in feeling lonely. I think so many people struggle with this silently, so I'm really glad that you asked. I actually made a reel where I talked a little bit about like my top tips for feeling lonely. So I'll link that down in the description below. Just a few quick tips here that I can give you is to get into community with people. So get plugged into a church or find a community that resonates with you so that when you feel those moments of loneliness, you can call them and you can say, hey girl, come over please. Like, I do not want to be feeling lonely right now. I know for me, I will always call my mom, or I'll call my sister, or I'll call one of my best girlfriends, and we will just talk on the phone until I don't feel lonely anymore. I'll start doing some chores around the house, and then I get into the groove, and then I'm like, I honestly don't really need to be on the phone right now. I feel motivated to just do my own thing, maybe throw on some music and start cleaning, and before you know it, that feeling will pass. Next question is, what brings you joy? And so many things are bringing me joy right now, even in the midst of feeling a lot of grief. I think there's some really big things that bring me joy, like my cat and my family and where I live, but there's also really small things that bring me joy, like walking down the hallway and hearing my neighbors just listening to some music or having the TV on or laughing. I love when I walk into my apartment and I can like smell what people are cooking for dinner. I think that is there's something so humble and wholesome about that. The last question is, what are your requirements for dating again? And I actually made a whole list of requirements. It's extremely important to me that they are a Christ follower and have been, and have a strong foundation, solid relationship with Jesus, and that I'm just invited into that and he's invited into my relationship with Jesus. It's important to me that this person loves to adventure and loves to go on hikes and explore new places and is a little bit spontaneous. Somebody who's really honest and respectful, and that goes beyond just being like honest and respectful, but like is super honest and respectful, that's a priority for them. I would love somebody who has like a big personality and is kind of outgoing and loves to talk it up with people, because that's kind of how I am, kind of golden retriever energy, you know, and I just would love if they were like super comfortable talking with my family and my friends. And the last one, which is probably the biggest one for me, is that they love their alone time and they love when I spend alone time with myself, and that we can just like encourage each other to continue fostering relationships with ourselves outside of the relationship. Like, how freaking healthy is that? That is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for asking these juicy questions and asking some fun ones too. And if you guys have any other questions, feel free to shoot me a DM, an email, comment them down below. I'd love to do another Q&A in the future. I'm so grateful for you guys and for your support with everything I'm doing. I just, like, it's kind of unbelievable, and I just want you to know how extremely grateful I am to you for being here on this journey with me, even though it can be a little bit scary, but we're in this together, I promise you. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.